record. Okay, I've started recording. You may start group 1. All the best. Please turn on your videos. Muka Danish dengan siapa? Jaya. Tak nampak lagi. Okay, Danish gelap gelita, tak nampak apa. Are you okay? Is that an aquarium at the back ke tingkap? Okay, we're waiting for Jaya. Earth to Jaya. Jaya hilang kot. Jaya, are you there? Okay, we lost Jaya. Let's wait kejap. 37.
Dia cakap internet dia buat hal.
Internet buat hal pula. Aduh. Is his part depan-depan ke belakang-belakang? Kita tunggu je lah kejap . Let's give it a few more minutes. Or we can proceed with group 2. Kesian Danish dah share slide dah. Sekejap. Sekejap Okay, Jaya hilang. Okay, let's start with group 2 then. Group 2, Fatihah, Christina, Hidayah, Aisyah and Nadira. Sorry Danish. Nanti kita tengok balik slide ni. It looks good though. Okay,
Doctor,
yep.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Is your group all present? Fatihah? Ada tak? Fatihah tak nampak lagi. Gambar.
Sorry.
Gambar Christina. Please turn on your video. Hidayah, Aisyah and Nadira.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I was having some internet issue.
Okay. Jaya nanti your group is next, alright? Hopefully your internet is okay by then. Okay, Christina ada, Fatihah ada, Hidayah ada, Aisyah and Nadira. Okay. Alright, you may start.
Yes, so greetings to Dr. Nadia and my fellow classmates. Today we are from group 2 and our group will give a brief presentation on the mini project that was conducted, the electrical consumption. So next slide. Our group consists of 5 members, which are me, Aisyah Fatimah, Kisina, Nur Hidayah, Awan Nur Fatihah and Nur Nadira. Next slide. Okay, so before we start, I'll be sharing a quote by David R. Brower, an environmentalist, between the year of 1941 to the year of 2000, which is, "All I know about thermal pollution is that if we continue our present rate of growth in electrical energy consumption, it will simply take, by the years of 2000, all our freshwater streams to cool the generators and reactors." This quote explains that electricity is not just does not just have the pros but also have the cons. Next slide. For the abstract, electricity, as we all know, plays an important role in our life. However, the comfort that we obtain from an unlimited everyday usage of electricity lets us to overconsume electricity. forgetting that we need to use it wisely as it has side incomes. The aim of this project is to explore electrical consumption and block rates, kilowatt over kilowatt hour to increase the awareness of electrical usage. The method is that we collected and compared 3 members' house electricity bills, collected the data needed, and calculated the wattage usage of each house electrical appliance. And the findings is that we plot appliance usage graph, we calculated the average cost and daily rates, and we compared the domestic tariff between TNB, TESCO, and SCSB. As for the conclusion, we propose alternative ways to reduce electrical usage. For the introduction, Nadira will be presenting. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be presenting my introduction. So electricity in general is the presence and the flow of electric charge. Electricity stays as one of the greatest inventions of all time that completely changed the way the world works. So most inventions are made after electricity needs work, of course. For example, the television, fans, air conditioner, and etc. In simpler words, electricity is the basic necessities. And there was a report in 2016 about 17% of the world population do not have access to electricity. So this means that like the other 83% they is using electricity in life. However, 83% of the electric users, only a little percent of users are aware of the electricity is non-renewable, as it is a secondary source of the energy. And electricity is created and refined at electrical power plants using other energy sources. And we are getting too comfortable with the presence of energy that we tend to forget that it needs to be safe and used wisely. We often leave the lights, fans, television, and more other electrical appliances turn on without realizing the amount of energy that we consume that it's consumed within that particular time. So all of this action leads to us consuming and wasting more energy than actually using it. So this is the reason why our group decided to conduct a mini project on the electrical consumption of 3 of our members' houses and compare the electrical consumptions of each electrical appliances in each house. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the, now I will pass it on to Fatiha. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Nadira. So now I will continue with the literature review. So I will explain a little bit a review about the existing and future energy sources for electrical power generation in Malaysia 2013. So based on these articles, we come up with these 3 points. The first one is about the electrical energy. The second one is about the demand. And the third one is about the source. Okay, for the electrical energy, based on the articles, it states that in 2009, Malaysia generates a total of 1,032 trillion watt hours electrical energy. The second one is about the demand. The demand was expected to be increasing by 4.7% per annum to 274 trillion watt hour by the year of 2030. And this is because by the strong demand from the industrial and residential sectors as Malaysia enters into an industrialized nation. In 2030, per capacity of electricity demand is expected to reach 7,571 kilowatt hour per percent. And the last point is about the source. Okay, Malaysia existing electricity generation is divided into 5 types of source, which are oil, coal, natural gas, hydro, and others. Malaysia also promoting coal as a fuel of choice for power generation. Not only, Malaysia also free up more natural gas for the export. And this is the link for our citation. So that's all from me. I will pass the presentation to Hidayah.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. So the objective from our project is to explore electrical consumption and block rates, kilowatt hour or kilowatt for own homes. And the second objective is to propose alternative to reduce electrical usage. And the third objective is to compare electrical consumptions for 2 months.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you, Hidayah. Now for the methodology. So firstly, we collect the bill for 2 months a row from the house, from the 3 houses. And then we calculate the energy consumption. After that, we analyze and record the consumption based on the electric bill. And we even record every electrical appliances that we listed. And then the bar chart, we plotted according to each house electrical appliances. Then after that, the end part was we made the conclusion and give suggestion on how to save electrical energy. Okay. Next, okay. Now I'll pass it on to the next presenter. Thank you very much.
So I will continue the presentation with which is result analysis. This next. Okay, so this table shows the electric consumption for the 3 homes starting from January until February. The electric consumption for home 1 in January is 643 kilowatt hour, and then decrease in February becomes 601 kilowatt hour. The electric consumption is high since her home has many fans, as it is 4,500 square feet. Same goes with the home 2. For home 2, electric consumption in January is 636 kilowatt hour and increase in February for 759 kilowatt hour. Next, for home 3, the electrical consumption is 262 kilowatt hour in January and decreased to 245 kilowatt hour in February. The electric consumption is lower than the other house because of this home don't have any air conditioner, and the area of this house also only 750 square feet. Next. Next slide. Okay. So next we will see the graph of consumption history or bill amount. We will start at home 1 down here. The bill consumption decreases from 255 ringgit and 28 cent to 232 ringgit and 35 cent in February, as the electric consumption also decreased. Next, for home 2, the bill amount is increased from January to February from 251 ringgit and 46 cent to 350 and 18 ringgit and 61 cent. For home 3, the bill amount is decreases from 64 ringgit and 31 cent to 58 ringgit and 63 cent. That's all from me. I will pass it to the next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, for the discussion and question, next slide please. For the question 1, we have to plot the appliances using the chart. So this is for the January. This is the chart of monthly usage of electrical appliances for January. So as you can see in the chart, you can see that air conditioner takes place where he actually conserve more electricity than other electrical appliances. Next slide. And then this is for February. Also, air conditioner take place in conserve more electricity. Okay, so for the question two, I'll pass to Aisha.
Okay, so for question two, we are required to find the average cost monthly and daily rates from the electronic appliances. Okay, so for the average cost, we calculated the average cost by adding both months and divided it by 2. And the daily rates is counted by dividing the average cost by 31 days. Okay, so for home 1, the average cost is RM 243 ringgit and 82 cents, and the daily rate is RM 7.87. For home 2, the average cost is RM 267.4 cents, and the daily rate is 8 ringgit and 61 cents. 6 ringgit and 61 cents. And for home 3, the average cost is 61 ringgit and 47 cents, and the daily rate is 1 ringgit and 98 cents. Okay, so next slide. So for the third questions or discussion, we are required to compare domestic tariff between TNB, SESB, and SESCO. So to begin, I will tell you about electricity tariff. Electricity tariff is the rate of charging for electrical energy supplied by the utility company to its consumer. The price of power generation depends largely on the type and market price of the fuel used, government subsidies, government and industry regulation, and local weather patterns. In Malaysia, there is 3 utilities, namely Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB, Sabah Electricity, STNBHD, SESB, and Sarawak Electricity Supply Corporation, the Ordinance, SESCO. These 3 utilities have different tariffs, which will be discussed. Firstly, TNB supplies electricity to Peninsular Malaysia, while SESB and SESCO only supplies electricity to Sabah and Sarawak respectively. Out of all 3 utilities, TNB offers the lowest tariff with the minimum charge of RM 3 ringgit monthly, while SESCO and SESB charges RM 5 ringgit monthly. Now I will pass to Christina for the conclusion.
Next slide, Fatiha. So for the conclusion, in conclusion, actually we can learn and understand how electrical consumption were calculated. Next, we also got to see how much electrical appliances contribute to electrical bill in our home. So we have come up with alternative ways to save electricity bill. So first is we have to turn off electronics that aren't in use. This is actually, without your knowing, electrical appliances like television, computer, stereo actually can be enormous high energy consumption to your bill when it is not in use. So by using a shared power chip, it actually will help a lot, and it turn it off for all the appliances just with one button. So for the second one is we need to switch to LEDs to conserve electricity. So the average 16 watt equivalent LED just uses 9 watt electricity compared to our average CFL compared fluorescent light of the same equivalency that uses up to actually 13 watt. So actually we can reduce to 30% of reduction in electricity usage per unit bulb. So lastly is we need to buy energy star appliances. So the more the energy, the more the star, the more it conserves the electricity. So energy star appliances uses 10 to 50% less electricity than the non-energy star appliances. So we have to choose the right appliances that save power usage, it actually can really help to conserve our electricity. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Well done. Okay, can you go to the slide yang tunjuk the bar charts for each house, the consumption? The next one, the one after this. Ke bawah kot. Oh, dia start eh?
This slide ke doktor?
Bukan. The one after bar chart yang pertama. Yang kedua lah, bar chart yang kedua.
Oh,
This one, yes. Okay, I thought home 3 is the one that uses the least amount of electricity.
yes.
Yang ada line air conditioner ni from home 3.
Oh, no. This is from home 2 actually.
Okay, alright. Okay, tu je. That distinction was not there, so I got confused. Alright, any other questions from our classmates? I mean, not our classmate, your classmates. I'm not your class. Any other questions? You guys don't want to ask anything? Everything's good? Okay, I think it was a well done. It was a really good presentation. Everyone prepared really well. The slides are really good. So I'm happy. So good job. Okay. Next group. Group
Thank
1.
you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Dok.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, group 2. Group 2 pula. Group 1. Jaya, Danish, Sophia. Okay, so after group 1 is group 3. So group 3, please get ready with your members. Group 1, you may start whenever you are ready. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, Doctor. A very good morning. I'd like to wish Dr. Nat and to my fellow classmates. So today, as a member of Group 1, my name is Biographer Consumption. I'd like to introduce myself. And our presentation for today is about our mini project, which is entitled about electrical consumption. Next slide. So our group consists of initially 4, but then now we only have 3, which is me, Jairupeng, and Ganesh, Danish, and also Sarah and in Sophia. And moving on to the next slide. So let me give you a wholesome look about this mini project. So as we know, electricity is very important in our daily life, because without electricity nowadays we have nothing much to do. In those olden days where there were not that much of utility providing electricity to rural areas and also certain areas, people could survive, but I don't think so in this 21st century we can survive, because we rely a lot on internet, and internet is powered by electricity. So in that sense, I would like to say that electricity has become a life wire to our life these days. So by definition, electricity is the flow of electrical power or charge. And in this mini project, we have identified and mastered every aspect of electrical consumption and block rates of our respective group members' house. And in this mini project, we have compared from past 3 months bills, and we have came up with ways that we can save electricity bills, because it is actually quite expensive these days. Next slide. So as an introduction as well, we three members have collected the past 3 months bills, and we have investigated electricity consumption and which appliances of electric is consuming a lot of electricity in our houses and which is not consuming a lot of electricity in our houses. And then as we know, electricity can also affect our environment because there are several ways that we can produce electricity. For example, we have hydro plants that are using waterfall turbines. Then we can also produce from coal burning. We can also produce from solar cells, from natural resource. So there are plenty of ways, and these are the reasons why electricity bills can also vary as well. Moving on to the next slide. So the objective of this mini project is basically to study the electrical consumption and block rates of our own homes and to compare electrical consumption for more than 2 months. In this case, our group, we have specifically done for past 3 months, which is December, January, and February, so that we can get more specific comparative details and to propose an alternative way to save electricity. Next slide. And methodology. So we have collected the bills from past 3 months, which is December, January, and February. And then we have calculated the energy consumption of each houses in kilowatt per hour. And then we have compared the electrical appliances that we have in our houses and by per unit and what is the consumption. We have recorded the electric bill and compared the consumption. Moving on to the next slide. And then we have comparatively details of monthly usage, and we plotted a bar chart, and then through this we have made a discussion and conclusion on how we can save electricity as well. That's all from me, and I'd like to pass to my next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaya. I will now present my part, which the home information of our this is for home information for each of the member of the group. Jaya's house is a terrace house consisting of 4 adults, and the electricity is from TNB. Danish is also the same as Jaya. And my house is a semi-detached with over 10 adults. And also my house also uses TNB as our primary source of electricity. Next. Next slide. These are the pictures of the bill that are attached. And here's the reading history for the home one. And then this is for home 2, which has the lowest amount of bill, and home 3, which is my house, which has the highest bill. Next. So this is the bar graph for consumption. As you see that every single home here has a different bar graph, and it's according to the home and how they use the electricity. The electric consumption will be different. And this is also another graph where you can see clearly the differences in the home. So for example, home 1, the most electricity that is used is by refrigerator. And as you see that besides refrigerator, they also use the most electricity on fan and or air conditioner. In home 2, the most electricity is used by air conditioner. And in home 3, it's most used by the LED lights and the air conditioner. Next slide. So in January, the most electric. So you can see how the bar graph and the usage of machine affects the usage of electricity. Next. And in February, most of them has the lowest amount of electricity use compared to the other graph. And next. So as so the estimated bill for each of the average. This is how it's estimated, and the average total for each house is different. For example, home one is 369.36 cents with a daily rate of 12 ringgit 31 cent. Home two has average total of 58 ringgit 59 cent and daily rate of 1 ringgit 95 cent. Home three have the average total of 500 to 522 ringgit with a daily rate of 17 ringgit 43 cents. The estimated bills depends on how much the electric consumption is used. Next.
Okay, I will continue from this information. Thank you, Sophia. I will explain the estimate bill. The average total of the estimate bill, most the highest is from the home tree, which is 322.88 sen. And for the lowest is the home two, which is 58 ringgit. And the daily rate is the lowest too. And then we go to next is
Danish, can you be loud?
loud. Oh,
Okay, thank you. We hear you now.
okay. Oh. Okay, for the domestic tariff, the inclusion electricity tariff is the rate of charging for electrical energy supplied by the electricity company to its consumer. For our analysis, we know the Cisco is the most lowest of the domestic tariff because Cisco, due to the success of the Sarawak corridor of the renewable energy, Cisco is using. They have a government which is core. It's a state-driven development strategy that harness Sarawak more affordable, renewable, and reliable energy for their resources. And next, we go to the conclusion that it can conclude there is an increase in energy consumption at home by the consumer in 3 months for our observation. For the reduce our energy, we can turn off our appliance that they're not in use, and we can conclude that we can use awareness and practice toward energy efficiency affect the energy consumption of consumer. And we can conclude that we can see the home tree is the highest because most of them using air conditioner, using of the power conservation. The consumer should use electrical appliances which are high energy efficiency based on the energy star rating to save their to save more energy for their home. That's why we must to use we must to see the star rating at the appliance. And that's all from us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you group 1. Okay, kejap saya nak tengok slide slide that talks about the amount of electricity for each home in December. Can you go to that slide? Okay, this one is okay. Okay, Yani. All right. So here, home 2, the washing machine consumption is only 25. Kenapa Kenapa rendah sangat compared to home 1?
Because because my mother do not usually using the washing machine at my home. My mom usually send the my clothes to the Dobby.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. That explains. Okay, ingatkan I thought because you use a special appliance that has like special rating. So if that's the case, I want to know what type of appliance so that I can buy it. Okay, thank you, Danish, for sharing that. And then the conclusion says about Energy Star rating. Can you explain a little bit more on what that is? Any of you guys, if you guys know the answer? The conclusion?
So doctor, these days we have a lot of electrical appliances where brands want to attract us customers using their skeptical concept of saving energy. So in that sense, they have come up with this saving energy rating, and where we consumers, we don't want to pay a lot of electricity, don't pay a lot for the electricity bill. So what we will do is that we will choose for the highest energy saving appliances. So what basically these appliances do is that they just need a lower consumption of electricity to operate in the normal level. So in that sense, it consumes a lesser amount of kilowatt per hour, even though we use for many hours. So in that sense, it reduces the total consumption of kilowatt per hour and reduces our electric bill in general.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, good one. That was good.
Thank you, doctor.
The slides are very cute. Thank you for preparing. All right, group 3. Are you guys ready? Group 3. Group 3. Redo, Aidil, Nurhan, Mina, Azmina, and Ishra. Okay, please turn on your video. You can start sharing your slide. And you may start when you are ready. Do we have all our members here? Azmina, Aidil, Redo, Ishra, Nurhan. Yes, okay. Ada Nurhan lah. Nurhan.
Ada.
Ideal. Dah lah selalu tak datang. Muka pun tak nampak ni. Macam mana ni? Saya tak nampak muka awak. Okay. Can we start?
Okay, can Doctor, can.
Right.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to Dr. Nadia and our fellow classmates. We are from Group 3 and today we will be presenting our mini projects or our electric bill reports. Next. Next. Ina. Okay. Our group members consist of 5, which are Muhammad Aidil, Ahmad Nurhan Amsyah, Muhammad Ishraf, me, Reda Iman, and also Azmina Mardia. Next. So this is the contents through our presentations. We will start with objectives that will be presented by Ishraf, project background by me, abstract by Mina, methodology by Ishraf, again, result by Nurhan, and conclusion by Aidil. And so, Ishraf will start the presentation with objectives.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Dr. Nat and my fellow friends. So, the objective that in this experiment, first, explore electrical consumption and block rates in kilowatt for homes, and the second one is to compare electrical consumption for 2 months, and the third one is to propose alternative to reduce electrical usage. So I will pass my presentation to the next presenter.
Okay, for the introduction or for the project background, I'll start first. In general, electricity is the set of physical phenomena associated with the presence and motion of matter that has a property of electric charge. We use electricity to do work and help us to generate voltage to switch on any devices that require energy. Without electricity, most of our activities cannot be done easily as there is no source of energy provided to turn on the electronic devices. However, When we are given the convenience in life, we always take for granted by wasting electricity usage at our home rather than save it. Because of that, this mini project was introduced with its main purpose to investigate the appliance consumption and the power consumption awareness for domestic application in Malaysia. It took 1 month for us to completely done this project before the deadline, which is on today, 11 March 2021. And so, I will pass to Azmina to continue our presentation.
So I will be presenting on abstract. Electricity is the flow of charge or electrical power. Electricity also can be gained from the conversion of the other sources of energy, which are called primary sources. The example of primary sources are nuclear power, coal, oil, natural gas, and other natural sources. So beginning from our homes, electricity is very important for operating all appliances. For example, we need to use electric to cook the rice using rice cooker, entertainment to watch television, lighting, and of course, all technology. Thus, electricity is something that cannot be taken for granted, and we must use it wisely. Hence, the purpose of this mini project are to explore electrical consumption for 2 months and suggest alternative ways to reduce electrical usage. From here, we can conclude that our group members' house, which is the largest one, consume a higher amount of electricity. That's all from me. I will pass the presentation to Isha.
Slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so I will continue my friend presentation for the second time. And my part is to explain about the methodology. So you can just read about the methodology, but I will summarize it into the simple words as you can. So for the first thing that we did is we collect two 2 months electrical bills from 3 different houses, and we got Reda House, Mina House, and Ideal House. And then we calculate the energy consumption for each different house. And from this, we also gather the information for each home electric appliance, and we just record, and the 2 months of electrical consumption were compared. So for the next point is the electrical consumption for every electrical appliance usage were then calculated. So from this data, we are plotting a graph, which is a bar chart, and my friend will explain it later. And then we observe from the data and discuss about the electrical energy consumption and usage. And we also make a suggestion about how to save electrical energy. So I think that's all from me. I will pass my presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishraf. Can Doctor hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I will proceed with the result of our mini project. So before I start, I would like to talk about a little bit of our background from our members group. So for Azmina lives in Bungalow with 3 other family members. Ideal lives in terrace house with 5 adult members, and lastly Redo, he lives in Bungalow with consists 3 adults member. So all of them use TNB tarif. So for the first graph, which is comparison between estimation and actual monthly usage kilowatt hour. So for Azmina and Redo house, usage electricity are less than estimation, and for Ideal, the usage of electricity are higher than estimation. So for the second graph, which is the average appliance usage, air conditioner is the highest appliance usage, but it only consists of two houses, which is Red Dot and Azmina. So it's followed by refrigerator, so both of air conditioner and refrigerator are more than 150 kilowatt hour. And for the lowest one is television. So we had interview with our members. So the usage of television is the lowest because there is other gadgets such as smartphone and laptop. So the usage of television is the lowest. So for the last one is the consumption amount history. So we can see that Redol's house have the highest consumption of amount history. This is because Redol's house have the largest area than other two members. So it then followed by Azmina due to she also have the bungalow's house like Redol. So lastly, ID's house have the lowest one because he's have the lowest area of house. So to conclude, we can see that bungalow have the major difference of consumption history than terrace. So I think that's all from me.
Okay, thank you Nurhan. So Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Nat and my fellow classmates. So I will continue for the conclusion and suggestion part. So in conclusion, there are so many ways to save our electric bills every month so we can avoid wastage of electricity. So some alternative ways to save our bills are, for the first one is use the washing machine once the laundry is full. So in the simple words is save energy in how you wash and dry clothes. And clothes dryers use lots of energy. So in my suggestion is just hang clothes outside and let them dry naturally, or use fan if we want to hang them in our house, and wash clothes in cold water instead of hot because of if we wash on hot and rinse on warm, we are going to use an average of 4.5 kilowatt per hour per load, which will costing amount 1,000 something per year. And if we wash on cold and rinse on cold, we are only going to use an average of 0.3 kilowatt per load, which will costing around 67 ringgit per year. So for the next one is turn off lights and electrical appliances when not in use. So if we want to go bed or leave the house, please make sure to turn off our heater, cooling units, and other appliances. And most computers nowadays have energy saving settings, which can be activated to turn the computer and screen off after a period of inactivity. So use them. And the third one is use a programmable thermostat. So what is thermostat? Thermostat is used to prevent overheating and to control the temperature of the circulating water. So with this device, we can simply program the temperature according to the time of day without the need for adjusting it manually. So this will allow the thermostat to make the change automatically, which will not only help your home to be more energy efficient, but it will costing a low price for our bills. And the next one is check if appliances work properly. I think this is one of the most important ways to save bills from a high pay, because appliances that do not work properly are an energy drain on our home. So how to keep them in a tip-top condition is always checking them regularly as well as using them, and check that all appliances are clean, repaired, and working properly on a regular schedule. And last but not least is install solar panel. So this option is not for everyone because it somewhat costly measures, but there is, for me, there is nothing better than running on solar power for the environment and for our wallet too. So for me, if we wish to cut our energy savings by more than 75%, so this is the best way to use, that is the solar panel. So I think that's all from us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That was good. Kejap. Can I see your slides again? Siapa yang control Mina? Can we go to results? Okay. Okay, how did you guys make the estimation versus the actual? Can you explain? How was the estimation done? Any one of your members boleh jawab. So no one remembers how to do it? How did you guys estimate?
Calculate it based on our daily usage.
Okay, you calculate.
The actual one.
So you calculate based on your daily usage. So how did so if you have an estimation based on like a pattern, right? So shouldn't your estimation be the same for each month? Was that the case here? Korang tak buat untuk 2 months Oh, buat 1 month je tapi 3 orang. Okay, faham dah. Alright, okay, faham. Okay, I think that's it. If we have any questions from your class? No questions? Yeah, I especially like the conclusion part. It was very thoroughly done. So well done to this group. Okay, moving on, group 4. Group 4 is Group 4 is Haikal, Fakri, Divya, Yani, and Louis. Okay, whenever you are ready, all the best. And don't forget to turn on your video. Mana Haikal Haikal. Haikal, where are you?
Yes, miss. Eh, doctor.
Turn on your video, please.
Yeah.
Good morning, doctor. I'll be sharing screen for our group.
Is Haikal okay? I still can't see his video.
Doctor, he said his internet lagging.
Okay, alright. So can we just start then? Nanti kita harap when his time to present comes, his video is on. Alright, all the best.
Actually, doctor, he has to do the first part of it.
Okay. So
Sorry, doctor.
Alright. Yes, if that's the case, can we go to group 5 first?
Sure, doctor, sure. Sorry.
Sure.
It's alright. Group 5 is Afia, Umar, Haziq, Amshar, and Shasha. Turn on your video. Oh, Haikal dah ada dah?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, can we just go with group 4 then? Alright. All the best. Okay, you can start.
Can doctor see our screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good morning to my fellow classmates and Dr. Knight. So today my group which consists of 5 members, which is Yen-E, Louis, Divya, Fakri and me. We will present to you more detail of our mini project, which had been conducted by us according to several objectives. So the first objective, Divya. Yes, thank you. So the first objective is to compare electrical consumption for 3 months. So the next objective is to explore electrical consumption for 2 months or more. And the last one is to propose alternatives to produce electrical usage. Okay, so now we go to the next content of the project. For the introduction part, as we know, electricity is a form of energy resulting from the existence of charged particles, such as electrons or protons, either statically as an accumulation of charge or dynamically as a current. Electricity was used at our home to generate our machines or technologies, which help us with our daily work and activities. And as we know, electricity is important to us. When we need to use it, so we need to use it sparingly so that we will not run out of electricity to manage our daily activities. So five of us had decided to investigate case of electricity consumption for domestic applicants in Malaysia. By comparing electricity consumption among 3 houses by looking at 3 months bill, then we managed to provide ways to reduce the electricity consumption so that we could save more energy. So next we proceed with the methodology. For methodology, we came up with methods that were used to conduct the investigation. So firstly, electric bills of 2 months from 3 different houses were collected. All the information needed about the house, such as electrical appliance and the electrical consumption used, were collected and recorded. So the third one is important data obtained from the electric bills were recorded, and the electricity consumption between 2 months for each house were compared. The next one is the monthly electricity consumption of each electrical appliance used in each house was calculated for 2 months by Fakri and Divya. The electrical consumption of each house was plotted in bar charts and were compared. And sixth one is the data were discussed after being compared. And the last one is the alternatives to save electricity were proposed. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Haikal. Doctor, can you hear my voice?
Yes, Louis.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to present the abstract. So as we know, electricity is the most widely used form of energy humans use every day. It is a basic part of nature, which is the flow of electrical power or charge. The implications of electricity deficiency is tremendous, which could affect most industries. Regardless the seriousness of electricity deficiency, electricity wastage is still significant in Malaysia. Therefore, this mini project is conducted to investigate the electrical appliances consumption and the power consumption awareness for domestic applications in Malaysia by analyzing the electrical consumption and block rates of houses of group members. So each group member is required to collect and provide 2 months of electric bills to calculate the wattage usage of electrical appliances and the tariff rate. Home information and list of home electronic appliances and their monthly usage is also collected and recorded. Next, the result of the estimated calculation is compared with the actual usage or voltage of houses. The results are plotted in bar charts to compare easily. So the average monthly cost and daily rates of electronic appliances is also calculated. And by conducting the mini project, a conclusion is made that houses with different numbers of family members will have different amounts of electrical usage. By reducing the usage of electrical wastage could be prevented. At the same time, less money is spent on electricity. Therefore, the public should practice good habits on using electricity, such as turning off switches when not using them, especially those with high electricity consumption. So I'll pass the next part to Yan Yi. Thank you.
Morning, doctor. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'll be presenting overview and literature review. So as we know, this paper aimed at reviewing the studies on energy consumption in the residential buildings in Malaysia and the ways to improve electricity usage will be discussed later on. Electricity is the main source of main energy source, space cooling and other household appliances. By the year 2030, the consumption is expected to rise to 50%, and in Malaysia, buildings consume a total of 48% of the electricity generated in the country. This includes both the commercial and industrial buildings. As demand of electricity increases, the carbon dioxide emission in the country has increased by 221%. There are studies indicating more than 50% of this energy is used in buildings for comfort purpose. For example, air conditioning and refrigeration. This actually can be minimized if the occupants use their electricity considerately. For literature review part, based on the website state data, Malaysia's electricity consumption was recorded at 12,638.589 kilowatt hour Minnesota in September 2018. This data is updated monthly. However, the electricity consumption by buildings in Malaysia is still rising. This causes lots of environmental issues. To solve these issues, Malaysia's government actually is to move towards sustainable energy resources. Based on the website state data, Malaysia's electricity production has reached 13,606 gigawatt hour in December 2020. And according to Malay Mail News report on 30th May 2020, the residential electricity usage soared by 23% during the movement control order. This is due to more people are staying at home, and a decrease of 33% in overall usage was due to closure of the business premises and economic activities were halted throughout the MCO period. The government has introduced several economic stimulus packages. This includes the electricity bill discount between 2 to 50% to 7.5 million residential users in Peninsular Malaysia. Next slide. This graph above shows that the electricity consumption by buildings are increasing throughout this year. So before I pass to Louis, I would like to say we should all minimize the usage of energy, save the earth, save the planet. Thank you, and I'll pass to Louis.
Okay, thank you, Yan. So Among the three houses, home one is terrace house with 3 adults, and the consumption for the first month is 407 kWh and the second month is 502 kWh. Next slide. So for home two is a semi-detached house which consists of 4 adults, and the consumption for the first month is 337 kWh and 408 kWh for the second month. Next slide. So for home three is also a terrace house with 5 adults, and the consumption of the first month is 640 kWh and 578 kWh for the second month. And I'll pass it to Fatih. Thank you. Also, these are the sample views of views. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Assalamualaikum and very pleasant day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the sample bills from three houses. The home one is Haikal's house, second one is Louis, and the third one is in-house. We proceed with next slide. So I did the estimated bill calculation for home one. So this is the result. For January, we found that the monthly usage for house one is about 408.81 kilowatt per hour. And this is actually not really different with the actual one because the actual bill is 407 kilowatt per hour. So the difference is not too obvious. And the tariff for home one is, this on the calculation is 133 ringgit and 40 cents. It's a bit different with the actual one, which is 132.21 cents. For February, the monthly usage for house one is 504.59 kilowatt per hour, and the actual bill is 502. So it's again not too obvious. And for the bill tariff, the amount is 182 ringgit 57 cents, and the actual one is 181.23 cents. And I will pass this slide to Divya.
Okay, good morning, doctor and my fellow friends. So I did the estimated bill calculations for home 2 and home 3. So let me just briefly tell about home 2. So as we calculated, and these are the common electronic appliances used in the home 2 and their watt. And the monthly usage were calculated using 31st days because this is for January. So we got around 337 ringgit, 337.91 for the monthly usage, and this is a little bit off from the exact one. The exact one is 337.00, and for the TNB tariff rates, as the original amount of electricity that they had to pay was 96.06 ringgit, but as we calculated from this estimation, we got it around 96.56. And for the moving on to the February, as we calculated, we used 28 days, as February had 28 days. For the estimated usage, we got around 407.12 kilowatt hour. The exact one is around 408.00. For the TNB tariff rates, the exact amount they had to pay was 132.73, but from the estimation, we got 132.27, so the difference is not much also. And for the home 3, in January, we got 638.91 of monthly usage. And this is just a little bit off from the exact one, which is 640. And for the TNB tariff rates, we got a total amount of 253 ringgit and 4 cents. But the exact one is 253.64 cents, just a few cents difference. And for the February, the monthly usage was, as we calculated, we got it as 577.64 kilowatt hour. The exact one is 578 kilowatt hour. And for the TNB tariff rates, when we calculated, we got RM 220.26, but the exact one is 220.45. So we could conclude that the estimated one and the original one is almost very near, just 1 ringgit or few cents difference. So that is all for the estimated bill calculations, and I'll be passing to Fakri back.
So, here again, we proceed with the questions. So this is question 1, the plot appliance usage charge for January for both for the 3 houses. So we found out that the house 1 is at the second house is actually the minimum charge based on this calculation, but the usage is actually is on house 1. As you can see, the usage of house 1, the appliance is not really much compared to other houses. So the average mostly used is fridge. As you can see, the green line on this chart. So the next house, this is for January. I mean for the next month. This is February, and it's still the same. But as you can see, this single line on the top, at the top is actually from the air conditioner, because this house is actually used a lot of time in air conditioner usage. So actually, I actually like it. Sorry. I mean, like, as you can see in this, for the third house, we consume lots of energy usage for this month, for all months, for both months. I mean. Okay, for the next questions, average cost monthly and daily rates from the electronic appliances. So we got 2 months here, and based on the calculation, we found that we got 133.14 ringgit for January, house 1, and in February we got 182.57. So based on the calculation, we sum this and we divided by 2. We got the average monthly usage is 157.86 ringgit for house 1, 114.42 ringgit for house 2, and for the house 3 is 236.65 ringgit. And house 2 is actually, house 2 bills is the least compared to other houses. And for the daily rates, house 1 got 5.26, house 2 3.81, and house 3 is 7.89, and house 3 is at the top. This is for question 2, and the final questions. Okay, so this final question, domestic tariff of TNB, SSB, and SESCO. For Tenaga Nasional Berhad, the first 200s block is 0.218 cents per kilowatt hour. For SASB is 0.36 per kilowatt hour. And Sarawak Energy, the first 200 block is 22 cents per kilowatt hour. And so as you can see, Tenaga Nasional is the least, and it's followed by Sarawak Energy, and SSB is the expensive one because the first 200 watts, it consumes around 0.36 kilowatt per hour. And for this one, the 3 ringgit, actually this is the minimum monthly charge for Tenaga Nasional Berhad, 3 ringgit, and for both AXB and Sarawak Energy, it is 500 ringgit. So we live in Peninsula is very lucky actually. And I will pass this presentation to Lydia. Get to Lydia back. Thank you.
Okay, can Doctor hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay, so we are the last part of our discussion, but not the least, because this is one of the very important part that we have to consider. So we would like to draw the attention of everyone here. So oftentimes we are hit by high electricity bills. Sometimes it is during the real hot season in Malaysia, while sometimes it is quite normal in some of the houses based on the usage of electricity. So now, the electricity bill or the amount of money we have to pay for the electricity consumption is based on how much energy we use. So now, saving the electricity bills are not just aimed to saving the money, but also to conserve the environment as we conserve the energy. for the future use. Hence, if you're looking forward for reducing the electricity bill or conserve energy, so here we have some of the very important domestic energy saving alternatives. So they are key alternatives. So here. Now we have categorized these alternatives or ways into several categories. So first we look at the change of lifestyle or habits and becoming more conscious and aware of using the electricity. So the first one would be we have to, these are the general advices we get and we have to do it very strictly. So first is that we have to turn off the lights and fan and other electrical appliances when they are not in use. And also we have to unplug the electrical appliances or gadgets that are not in use to avoid phantom loads. So you might be wondering what is actually phantom load. Actually, phantom load is any electricity that an appliance or device will consume even when it's turned on or in standby mode. So these two scenarios are different. This is when we intentionally have to off. This is when we already off the gadget but still it's consuming. So it's good to unplug the electrical appliances or the gadgets that are not in use. And now is that it's good to have cold showers, or if you want to have a hot shower, it is better to shorten the shower time. And next is that it is emphasized to weatherize the home or seal air leaks around the home to lower the cooling expenses. What they mean here is that we have to make sure that the windows are kept shut or the gaps beneath the doors are covered this when the AC is in use. This is because we can ensure that the space can get colder faster and less energy will be used. And the next point will be performing certain household tasks manually, like sun drying the clothes rather than using the dryers, and washing the dishes by hands and drying them on the dish rack rather than using the dish washer. So now this is the common things that we always hear from everyone. And next we are going to the important part. Okay, now the ground for reducing the electricity bill is hidden in the usage of electricity. So if we use electricity wisely, we can greatly reduce the energy consumption. So one way is that we can bring the practice of ironing a pile of clothes in one go, not like switching on the iron just to iron a few clothes and then you do the same thing in the same day but the other time. So that's going to consume more energy, and appliances that generates heat actually consumes more energy compared to the others. So iron will be one of the giant contributors to the energy consumption. And next is that it is emphasized to run full loads in the washing machine. And then it's good to thaw the frozen food before using an oven to heat up the cold food so that the oven wouldn't be using much energy to heat up the food as it's frozen and you need more energy to actually heat it up. And the next one would be upgrading to energy efficiency appliances. So here, it is suggestible to substitute traditional or fluorescent lights with CFL or compact fluorescent lights and LED lights because they consume 25 to 80% less electricity and last around 2 to 25 times longer than the traditional and fluorescent lights. And next is that purchase appliances that are 5-star rated and they are more efficient. Actually, electrical appliances with energy efficiency labels provide information to the consumers about the energy consumption of that particular electrical appliances. So the energy rating label shows the estimated energy consumption of each electrical equipment based on the energy efficiency rating system. So a 5-star rated appliance, so the whole stars is 5-star, the total stars. So a 5-star rated appliance is surely the most efficient appliance. So one example is that 5-star rated Sharp TV. And next is that microwave oven versus the heat oven. So microwave oven uses significantly lesser time than the heat oven to heat up the same amount of food. So on average, microwave oven uses around 15 minutes to heat up something, the same amount of food, while the heat oven uses the 1 hour to do the same exact task. So the final one would be the maintenance of electrical appliances. So important thing is that we have to service the AC regularly, or clean or replace the block filters to reduce the energy consumption, because if there are dirts inside, it will reduce its efficiency. So as the efficiency is reduced, it actually consumes more electricity, but the output is less. So as we clean, we can get our room or space become cool faster. And the final one is actually quite different because we have found from an article, Bill Gates says that if you want to emphasize on zero waste or reduce the energy usage, innovation is one of the things he emphasizes. So we came up with this alternative, innovation. So you want to reduce the electricity consumption or the money you need to pay for the, or basically the bill, you use smart devices like smart power strips. So smart power strips actually cuts the power off and save the energy since it is able to detect when a device is in standby mode or during the period of inactivity. So this can avoid the phantom power being consumed. So now you don't have to worry about to unplug the switches if your appliance is in standby mode or switched off. So you can just use this smart power strip and you can control this using the apps connected like Alexa and iPhone. And that's for the smart devices. And not only this, you have many more smart devices that can actually help you to reduce the energy consumption. And the second one would be home automation or smart home. So in a smart home, the smartphone connected IoT, Internet of Things based system, will monitor and control home attributes, the important ones such as lighting, entertainment systems like TV, speakers, and other appliances. So we can take example of the lighting. So the lighting appliances are controlled by motion sensors, reducing the need for the manual operation. So the lights will actually turn on when the system detects the presence of people there, and it will turn off as soon as it could not sense the presence of people. So home automation and smart home is not quite common in Malaysia, but people integrate the smart devices and finally make it into a smart home. And finally is switching to solar power. This is one of the steps that even TNB is encouraging us to do. So we can install the solar panels or use solar PV system to capture sunlight and convert it into electricity. So PV stands for photovoltaic system. So solar panels will convert the photons from the sun into direct current electricity. Then the inverter will convert the DC into the AC, which will be used in the home. Then the electricity generated by the solar energy will reduce the overall consumption from the TNB grid. So hence, overall reduction in the electricity bill can be observed. So one example that uses solar power is that the solar power outdoor lights, the automated outdoor lights. And here, in conclusion, if we consider to follow the proposed alternatives, we can guarantee that we can actually reduce the amount of energy consumption, and eventually it will lead to reduction in the bill. So that's we can guarantee actually. And not just that, we are also saving the Mother Earth, because as we can see, if we lower the consumption of electricity, we are lowering down the demand. So if the demand goes down, we lower down the generation rate, and as the generation rate goes down, we reduce the usage or utilization of the non-renewable resources. So now we can save the Mother Earth. So in short, saving megawatts will save megabucks, actually mega ringgits. So that is all from us. So now we are opening to question and answer session if there's any.
Very thorough presentation. Good job. Well done, Group 4. I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any question? Okay. No questions? All right, let's move on to Group 5. Thank you, Group 4.
Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Thank you. Group 5 is I keep on Afika, Umar, Haziq, Amshar, Shasha. Please turn on your video. You can share your slide and you can start when you are ready and all your members have turned on their video. So we have Amshar, Haziq dah ada, Afika ada, Amshar, Umar ada, Shasha ada tak? Tak nampak je. Shasha. Okay, nampak dah Shasha. So we are full house. Okay, all the best.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. I wish to Dr. Nadia and my fellow classmates. Today, my group, which is group number 5, will be presenting our mini project, which is regarding electric consumption. Our group members consist of me, Shasha Nur Sabiha, Umar Al Farouk, Amira Haziq, Muhammad Amshar, and Nur Afika. So, what is electricity and why is it important? Well, the simplified definition of electricity is the flow of electric charge. Electricity nowadays is seen as a basic human need as humans require electricity in their daily lives to power their household items such as refrigerators, televisions, computers, and whatnot. Other than household usage, fields such as medicine, industrial, and agriculture, to name a few, also use electricity to function. We can conclude that electricity is very important for the survival of human species. So what drives our project? So basically, our project is driven by basically that we pinpoint 2 problems existing in today's society. So basically, our first problem that we identified was that most people are unaware on how much electrical energy that they consume daily. And next part, which we were able to identify the problem, which was most people are oblivious towards the methods that can be used to conserve electricity. So how does our project play a role in solving these problems? Well, through this project, we allow our members to basically examine their electrical bills thoroughly. And through that, they were able to learn how much electricity their electrical appliances use and whether their usage duration affects the rate. And we also allow our members to brainstorm different ways for us as normal civilians to conserve electricity. Next, our project has 3 objectives. The first objective being to explore electrical consumption and block rates for our own homes. The second objective is to compare electrical consumption for 2 months or more. And finally, the third objective is to propose alternatives to reduce electrical usage. And that is all from me. I will then pass my presentation to Afika.
All right. Thank you, Shasha. Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, please continue.
All right. So for the methodology, so we have 6 methods that we use as the 6 way. No, there's a methodology that we use in this project. So for the first one, we form the abstract project background and the literature review, and then we collect 2 months of electric bills from 3 houses, 3 of our members' houses, and we calculate all the information that we need, and then we record it in the table reading history, and we plot a graph bar using the data. And the next one, the uses of electric appliance and the units of each electric appliance were calculated and recorded in table bill calculation, and the TNB tariff plot for 2 months of each houses were read from the bill and recorded. So the last one, the appliance usage chart for the 2 months were plotted and compared between the 3 houses. So I will let Umar take the presentation.
Thank you, Afika. So I'm going to continue the presentation by presenting the house informations. So here are the 3 houses from the 3 members of our group. For the first house is the Amirul Haziq's house. It is size of 1,400 feet square. It is a terrace house. It is owned by their parents, and the number of occupants in the house is the 6 adults. So the next is we have the Muhammad Amshar house. The size is 1,400 feet square. It is a bungalow house and it is owned by their parents, and the number of occupants that currently living there is 5 adults. So for the last house, which is my house, the size is 1,400 feet square. It is a semi-detached house and it is owned by my parents. And the number that the adults that are currently living there is the 2, which is including myself. Next, I'm going to pass Amra Haziq for the next presentation.
Thank you, Umar. Okay, moving on to the reading history. So this is the table for 3 houses, the summary of the electric consumption. As you can see for house number 1 and number 2, we can get the consumption of the month by reducing the meter reading of current month with the previous month, and we got the consumption of that month. However, as you can see for house number 3, there's a dash symbol at the first month at the current meter reading. So what is this symbol meaning? I'm sure that some of you know that this symbol appear at your bill house, or some of you might not even know what is that dash symbol meaning. So this dash symbol meaning is related to the prorate method, or in Malay we call it as kaedah prorata. So this prorate method is a method where if consumption usage is below than 200 kilowatt hours, it will combine with the nets of the month consumption. So as we can see for the house number 3, for the first month the consumption is 173, which is below than 200. So for that meter reading will have dash. And for the second month, the consumption is 199, which is also below than 200. However, when we add on with the previous month, which is 173, we got the total consumption is 372, which is above than 200 kilowatt hour. So that's why for second month at the current meter reading, there have a number. So basically, this prorate method is the total number of consumption more than 2 months and above. Okay, that's all for reading history method. I'll pass to Amsha.
So moving on to bill calculations. Next slide. Okay, this table is a reference on how to calculate the energy consumption of electric appliance. So first, we counted the number of all electric appliances in the 3 houses respectively. Next, we multiply with the watt of each appliance. Then we multiply the value with the duration of which the appliances are used daily. And lastly, multiply it with the 30 days to get the monthly usage of each electric appliance. Mind that this is only an estimation, but it's not so different with the actual consumption. Okay, next slide. Now we are looking at the value of electric consumption of each houses for the first month. Next slide. Okay, as you can see for the second month, all 3 houses have an increase in their respective total electric consumption. And I'm assuming it is because of the hot weather, because the consumption of aircon and fan are noticeably increased. Okay, I pass to Farouk. Farouk, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Amshar. Okay, so I will continue the presentation about the TNB tariff rates. Next. So here we can see that there are 2 blocks. There are calculation that needed in order for us to calculate our amount that you need to pay at the end of the month. Here are the TNB rates. As you can see, TNB have provided us that each blocks have their own rates. For example, we see that the 200 blocks, the price is 0.218 ringgit, and the 100 block 0.334 ringgit, and etc. So for here, we can calculate using these tariff rates in order to get the amount that we are needed to buy at the end of the month. Next. So here are the tariff rate for the second house. As you can see that the amount is significantly lower compared to the first house, because we know that the number of occupants that living in the second house is 5% compared to the first house, which is the 6%. Next. So for the last house is the least number that the houses need to buy, because the occupants that living the house is 2 persons compared to the before, which is the 5 persons. I will pass it to the Haziq for the next presentation about the graph.
Okay, thank you, Umar, again. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the graph, it is actually the summary of the consumption amount of the three houses. So as I'm sure informed just now, that at the second month, all of these three houses have an increase in consumption amount. This is because of the hot climate that we are facing right now. So we use a lot of fans and air conditioning. So that's why we have an increasing of consumption amount. Okay, I think that's all from me. I pass to Afika.
All right, thank you, Haziq. For the last part, the conclusion and the suggestions. So throughout this project, we achieved all the objectives that we include at the beginning of this slide. And for the suggestions that we can use to reduce our electric bill. So the first one, switch off lights and electrical appliances when not used. Even though this is an easy way to do, I think most of us sometimes forget to switch off the lights and electrical appliances when not used. The second one is switch to energy-saving LED light globes. This is because LED light globes light up to 80% more efficient than other lights like fluorescence. So LED consume less power and lasts up to 6 times longer than the traditional light. So the third one, service the air condition. When we service the air condition, it will make the room get colder faster, and it will reduce the electricity usage. So next, we can also use smart power strip. So what is smart power strip? A smart power strip can detect when a device is in standby mode. After the detection, the power strip can cut off the state device power and save energy. So the next one, we can also wash a full load of 30 clothes using the washing machine instead doing a few small loads many times. If you do this a few small loads many times, it will require more electricity than we do a full load of 30 clothes one time. And the last one, we can use natural light instead. Switch on the light to take a picture. I think that's all from our group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Group 5. That was good. I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any questions? No one, as usual. Okay, so I don't have any questions. So good job, Group 5. Let's move on to Group 6. Mariam, Hajar, Nisha, Zafira, and Shakira. Please turn on your video, share your slides. Make sure everyone's videos is on before you start, and all the best. Okay, we have Shakira. We have Zafira. We have Nisha, Hajar. What about Mariam? Okay, nampak dah. All right.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to Dr. Nat and all of you. Today we are from Group 6 to present the mini project Electrical Consumption. Next. So our group consists of 5 members. First is me, Mariam, Nisha, Safira, Shakira, and Hajar. Next. So for the objectives for this mini project, first to explore the electrical consumption and block rates for own homes. So 3 of our members, which is Safira, Nisha, and Shakira, have count and explored the electrical consumption and block grids for their home. Second, to compare electrical consumption for 2 months, which is January and February 2021. And the last one, to propose alternative to reduce electrical usage, which is we will talk about it in conclusion. Next. Okay, for the introduction, okay, we know that electricity is the physical phenomena that occur throughout the nature and takes the different form. And it is also associated with the presence and motion of the matter that have the properties of the electrical charge. And electricity also one of the important source for human for the purpose of operating all the appliance and machine that we use in our daily life. And electricity also improve human living standard. Okay, so how can the electricity improve our life? Okay, for example, the availability of the electric will allow for the refrigerator of food. So this will improve standard of living by improve the quality of the food, and therefore it will also improve our health. Okay, next, we use electricity at home to do work. Okay, we already know this. Starting from the refrigerator, the air conditioner, fans, lamps, washing machine, and other appliances, we use that in at home, and it will and it makes for the convenience of day-to-day activities, which is use the electricity. And lastly, lack of electricity will give impact to consumer. Yes, because there will be no power to supply for the appliance that we use. So that's all from me. Next, I will pass to Shakira.
Thank you, Mariam. Now I will present the part of methodology. First, electric bill of 2 months were collected and the energy consumption were collected. The information about each house were gathered and the electric bill were recorded, read and compare. The consumption of electric energy for monthly usage were calculated. Electric consumption was compared, then the bar chart were created and plotted. The usage of electric energy for particular electric appliance were compared and the bar chart were plotted. The data were observed and discussed. The findings were discussed, then the way to save electric energy were concluded and suggested. Now I will pass my presentation to Zafira.
Okay, so we move to home informations for home one, which is my home. It is a 10,000 square feet with 8 adults, and it is a bungalow. And we can see the difference in monthly usage from January to February. So there is a big difference in the usage of air conditioner, which is from 260 kilowatt hour to 300 kilowatt hour. And then, but there is a constant usage of iron, rice cooker, washing machine, and that's it. So the usage of this appliance is constant for January and February, and there is an increase of usage of fan and also some television. So we can see a big difference in the usage of air conditioner because in February, because of the hot weather, we use a lot of time in using our air conditioner. So for January, the total monthly usage is 586 kilowatt hour, and we need to pay 207 ringgit and 70 cents. And for February, the total monthly usage is 808 kilowatt hour with 341 ringgit and 30 cents, and we need to pay that. So I will pass the presentation to Nisha.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to everyone. My name is Nisha Savita Asmai. I will present the home informations for home 2. This is my house. So my house is 1,600 square feet with 5 adults. Based on this graph, we can see that air conditioner contribute to the most electric consumption for both months, January and February. And then the least consumption of electric is by iron for both months also. And then there are some unchanged values like the values for refrigerator, rice cooker, and also washing machine, because these are the appliances that we use the same proportions for each month. And then what I can conclude is that the electric bill for February is higher than January due to some increase in some several electric due to some increase in electric consumption for several items like the fan, LED pop light, and also television. We will continue the presentation with Shakira. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. Now I will continue for the home 3, which is my house. My home size is 1,078 square feet, which have 5 adults. And from this chart, you can see that in February, the sum of monthly users increased, and there are no the same amount of sum of usage from January and February. That you can see that in January the refrigerator for January and February are not same. This is because I have something happen in my place, in my house, when in January. So it's supposed to have the same amount, right? For the refrigerator, but I have something happen. So for the January, I have to pay the bill, electric bill is 99.25 ringgit, and for the February is 52.50 ringgit. So now I will pass my presentation to Hajar.
Thank you, Shakira, and good morning to Dr. Nat and all my beloved friends. So we have reached to the conclusion part. So based on the previous presentation, the report has shown that Home 1 had the highest electrical consumption, followed by Home 2 and 3. So we have proposed ways to save electricity, which are, the first one is we need to unplug any electrical gadgets such as television and air conditioner, because when we turn off the electrical gadget, it still consumes electric. So we need to unplug to turn off completely. So the second method is use a power strip with a switch to turn off several devices at the same time, because power strips can detect when a device is in a standby mode, so they can cut off power and save thousands of watts. And the third method is we need to turning off appliances such as LED pop lights, fan, and rice cooker. So for the LED pop light, when we are in a daylight, I would suggest to use natural sunlight instead of turning on the LED pop lights. So the last method is we need to choosing an energy efficient machine. When we go to the shopping mall and we need to buy any electrical products, so we need to pay attention to energy ratings while shopping. The higher number of stars on the higher number of stars on the labels, the more energy efficient and the lower operating cost.
So we have reached to the Q&A session. So what are the questions you have?
Thank you, group 5. That was good. I don't have any questions. I think your classmate pun tak ada macam biasa. Okay, so let's proceed to group 6 ke ni group 6
We are group 6.
Okay, sorry, group 7.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome, good job. Good, group 7. Group 7 is siapa? Group 7. Group 7 is Hikmah, Anis, Fairuz, Sofara, and Aliana. Okay, please turn on your video and share your slide. Okay, ada dah. Group 7, Hikmah, Anis, Aliana, Umaira, Sofara, Hikmah, Anis, Fairuz. Okay, all of you are here. Okay, all the best.
Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning. I bid to Dr. Nadia Husseini binti Zainul Abidin and to all my dear friends. So right now, my group mates and I will present to you guys our mini project entitled Electrical Consumption ASP0505. So next slide, please. So this is the information regarding Group 7, consisting of 5 members, which are me, myself, Nurul Hikmah binti Jaslim, Sofara Ashfia Tasnim binti Muhammad Zairi, Muhammad Fairuz Azim bin Kamid, Anis Nadira binti Nur Maisam, and Nur Aliana Umairah binti Muhammad Faisal. So without further ado, let's begin the first presentation with Sofara, shall we?
Right, so thank you, Hikmah. So I will continue for the contents of our slides that consists of the objective, abstract, project background, methodology, results, discussions, and conclusions. So for the objective, first is to explore electrical consumptions and block rates, kilowatt hour or kilowatt for each home. And secondly, to compare electrical consumption for 2 months or more, that we will go more on details at the results part. And lastly is to propose alternative to reduce electrical wastage. So now I'll pass the presentations to Hikmah.
Thank you, Sofara. Now moving on to the abstract or executive summary of this mini project. First and foremost, we know that the consumption of electricity has always been a major privilege, especially to people who have to deal with technologies and modern facilities. How is this relatable? Well, in this 21st century, human beings are entangled with plethora of activities that require access to electricity. We are oftentimes mesmerized by the ability of electronic appliances to function in our daily life as though it could have never been better for the sake of civilization. For example, during online learning, we'll be needing an electronic device, be it our mobile phone or laptop, and we will also need the battery charger to boost the battery's percentage. And we also require electricity to do that. Therefore, it's a blessing to actually have your electricity and electronic device for online classes, especially during this pandemic. However, we also know the fact that electrical wastage occurs due to the unnecessary excessive electrical consumption that contradict to what it is ought to contribute in an individual's life. Electricity provided in the related area will contribute to the progress of so many workloads and activities done by human beings. However, the electrical wastage that occur will increase the amount of electric bills and that it will be a new burden to an individual's monthly commitment. Therefore, by conducting this mini project, we have obtained a lot of information regarding the results made through the calculations of the usage of electricity depending on the number of residents in each home, tariff category of each home, and electronic appliances utilized in each home. By completing this mini project, we have discovered that the first home, which belongs to Sofara, has the highest electrical usage compared to the other two homes, which are Fairuz and Anis. We also propose some of the ways to minimize electrical wastage, such as turning off electronic devices when they are not in use. Actually, there are a lot of alternatives as well, but for now, I'll pass the presentation to Anis Nadira.
Moving on to project background. Electricity is defined as the flow of electric charge. It's a very simple and very short statement, but there's so much behind it. It is widely acknowledged that electricity has become a crucial source of facilitating modern technologies used in many industries and sectors across the globe. Almost all living things in Malaysia require electricity storage to keep functioning their appliances as well as to sustain the daily life requirements. In other words, without electricity, an individual who lives with present commitments will find it difficult to survive and to improve their lifestyles. Therefore, our group has come up with a mini project regarding electric bill of our 3 members' homes. We have collected the electric bills from 3 members in our group and do our own calculations. The calculations are made by listing all the appliances and the tariff rates of the house, as well as presenting charts based on the data obtained. Then, we compare the electrical consumption of each house and calculations done through the bills. We also propose ways on how to reduce electrical wastage to have a low and accurate amount of electric bills. Next, I'll pass the presentation to Fairuz.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to Dr. Nan and fellow friends. So the methodology, the first one, the electric bill for 3 months were collected from 3 different houses. Each electric consumption were calculated. Number 2, information about the house's electrical appliances used and units of each appliances were gathered. Number 3, electric bills were recorded in table form. The consumption of electrical usage were compared. Number 4, monthly usage of the electrical consumptions were calculated and plotted on bar chart. Number 5, the usage of electrical energy for certain appliances used were compared. The results were plotted on bar chart. Number 6, the data was observed and has been discussed. And the last one, the conclusion and suggestion on the alternative ways to save electric energy were listed. So I will pass the presentation to Sofara.
Right, so now we go to the results, which is the first one is the graph of comparison estimation and actual monthly usage. So first of all, to make it clear that we use the value of the average of all the 3 months in this graph. And as you can see here, the actual and estimation value is almost the same in all of the 3 houses. So the highest consumption is by the home one, which is around 700 to 600 kilowatt hour, and the lowest consumption is by the home 2 is around 500 to 400 kilowatt hour. So for the next graph is the graph of consumption and amount history. So that consists all of the 3 months and for the every home. So the highest consumption is in the 3rd month, which is from the home 1 is 666 kilowatt hour. And the lowest one is in the 2nd month, which is by the home 2 is 411 kilowatt hour. And the last is a graph of average appliance usage that consists of all the electrical appliances from the 3 homes. So as you can see here, which is the electrical consumption, the highest one is the fan, which is from the home 1, because home 1 consists of almost 10 fans at home. So that's why it is the highest one. And the lowest consumption is the air conditioner, because all of 3 homes don't have the air conditioner. So that's all from me. I'll pass the presentation to Aliana.
Thank you, Safara. So now I will present on the discussion. So there are three main integrated utilities industry in Malaysia that provide the electricity and power supply, which are the Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB, Sarawak Electricity Supply Corporation, which is SESCO, and Sabah Electricity, SESB. So each of them has their own domestic tariff, which is the method of charging a consumer for consuming the electric power. So among of the three national utilities, TNB provides the lowest domestic tariff with a minimum charge of 3 ringgit monthly. It is because TNB has the greater number of independent power producers, or IPPs, and it's utilized the most in private capacity. Meanwhile, SESB and Cisco only offer minimum charge monthly of 5 ringgit. So based on the result, each three houses have the same tariff category, which is TNB. However, when it compared to the daily rates, the highest utilization of electrical energy belongs to the first home, which is spending about 8 ringgit and 35 cents, then followed by the third home with 5 ringgit and 80 cents. And the least one is the second home with only 4 ringgit and 71 cents. So the difference in daily rates occur because due to the electronic appliances consumed by the first house, such as dry iron, and same goes to the third house who has consumed the desktop, computer, and table fan. Other than that, the number of people who occupy in each houses and the hours of usage could also contributed to the increase of electricity energy consumption. Therefore, the price of electric bill will be greater. So now, Faris will take over the next slide. Thank you.
In conclusion, electricity consumption can be reduced by several alternative ways. Therefore, we can save electricity bills from unessential usage and keep off from wasting money. For instance, turning off electronic devices when they are not in use. Next, install compact fluorescent light bulbs SFLS because it uses 1/5 to 1/3 the electric power and lasts 8 to 15 times longer. Therefore, it will conserve more energy usage. Another suggestion, service the air conditioner to have a better efficiency and reduce electrical wastage. Next, use solar power. Solar power provides many benefits and is renewable, can generate the electricity for home and also eco-friendly. Next, set the temperature from fridge and freezer. It can help to reduce the amount of electric spent in order to keep the things in the refrigerator cool and fresh all the time. And the last one, use power strip for multiple gadgets. The power strips can diminish the electricity and save energy since they are able to detect when the device is in standby mode. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 7. Can I see the results again? Sekejap nak tengok sekejap. Second month. Okay, so the most is fan. Okay. Okay, so here in home number 1, the appliance usage, the highest consumption by appliance is by the fan from home 1. Home 1 ada berapa fan kat rumah?
Almost 10 fan.
Oh my, okay. So that makes sense. Okay, so thank you. That's it. No questions from me. Good job, Group 7. Proceeding to Group 8 now. Group 8, I don't have my phone. My kids stole it. So group 8, you know who you are. Please turn on your video and start sharing. Okay, so we have Zahilda, Nick, Alifa, Ayuni. Okay, we have Ayuni, Afrina, and Najwa. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
Doctor, can you see my slides?
Yes, you can start. All the best.
Zahida, we start. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to Dr. Nat and all my fellow classmates. Today, we from Group 8 will present our mini project, electrical consumption. So our group consists of 5 members, which is Siti Nur Najwa, Nur Zailda, Nur Afina Shamimi, Alifa Nur Ayuni, and Ni Alisha. Next, the abstract of our project is electricity is at the heart of many modern technologies being used for electric power and electronic devices. Electric power is the rate of electrical energy transferred by an electric circuit. The electric power industry provides the production and delivery of power through a grid connection. As now, we humans live in modern era, we need electricity in our daily life to do work. However, there are several instances of electricity waste in our country that seem to be extremely evident. As a result, we are concerned about this situation. Thus, we work on this mini project about electrical consumption at home. In our group, 3 members need to collect 2 months of their house electric bills. The wattage consumption of each house electrical appliances, as well as the tariff rates were determined. Then we compare the result of our calculated results to the real wattage used in our home. We also have plotted the result in bar chart to compare the wattage consumption. As you can see that electrical appliances has different wattage usage. The more is produced by electrical appliance, the higher the wattage. Next. The objective of our mini project is to explore electrical consumption and load rates for own homes, to compare electrical consumption for 2 months or more, and to propose alternatives to reduce electrical usage. So I will pass the presentation to Ayuni.
Okay, thanks, Zahilda. So this is methodology we use. So first, we collected 2 months electric bills from different houses and calculate the energy consumption in each houses. After that, we gathered information about each house's information, electrical appliance use and units of each electrical appliance. Then we tabulate the data and record and compare the consumption of all the 2 months. Then calculated the consumption of electric energy for monthly usage of electronic appliance and compared again each house electrical consumption and plot the bar chart. Next, we compare the usage of electric energy for particular electronic appliance used in each houses and again plot another bar chart and observe the data. Lastly, we discuss based on the findings and make conclusion and suggestions on how to save electric bills. Next. So those the information of electricity consumption are gathered from which these 3 sample bills. Next. This is reading history compared of 3 houses of our members. So for home 1, the consumption is in December is 145 and decrease in January, which 139. Then in home 2, in December 320 and decreased to 287, and home 3 1074 decreased to 996. And we standardized the months used to collect electricity consumption, which January and December. And why is the home 3, the month consumption of this house, which home 3 is more different than the others because of the size of its area. which reach almost 4 times larger than the two houses above, which is 3,500 square feet. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Ayuni. So this is our bar chart based on the reading history. It's actually a comparison between the house itself, not amongst each other. So not home one against home two. We'll get to that later. It's just a comparison of home one's first month with the second month. So it's a consumption of kilowatts per hour per month. And the y-axis is the consumption with the x-axis being dates. Now I will show the comparison of all the houses together. Next slide, please. Thank you. So these are all the houses together. Like we can see that okay, sorry, wait. The first house is the green and blue. The third house is the orange and yellow, and the second house is the blue and the brown or orange-ish color. But the second house, as you can, the third house, the biggest one is you can see is has the largest consumption of kilowatts per hour. Like Ayuni said, it's 3,600 square feet. So it's a bit larger than the rest. So that's why it has the highest consumption. It's a semi-detached house with 4 adults. And the lowest consumption of energy house, the green and blue, is a condominium or apartment with 3 adults. And the middle one, the middle house, the second house is the house that is a terrace house with 4 adults. All of these are using TNB tariff rates. So I'll move on to the next slide and the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. I will continue the presentation. So this is about estimated bill calculation for home one for 2 months, December and January. As you can see, this is Zahida house. She has no LED pop light and and no air conditioner. So with that, she has at least monthly usage of kilowatts. For the next home, this is my house. I have different from Zahida. I have LED pop light, but no air conditioners too. So my monthly usage is a little bit higher than her. As you can see, from 2 months, the January has decreased a bit their monthly usage. Home 3, this is Nick's house. As you can see, Nick has 3 air conditioner and 3 refrigerator. Four air conditioner. So that's why she has a very higher monthly usage. As you can see, the December she has about 1,000 kilowatt, and for January she also almost has 1,000 kilowatts. So for the next slide is about question 1. So I plot two months for 3 house. As you can see, basically home 3 has the largest chart for both months, and the second one is home 2, and the least one is home 1, which is Zahida house. So Zahida use less consumption of electric. For the next slide, I will pass to Afrina. Thank you.
Okay, so I will be presenting for the question number 2. Find the average cost monthly and daily rates from your electronic appliances. So to find the average total, we need to total up these 2 months, December, question 5, slide. Okay, so to find the average total, we need to sum up these 2 months, December and January, and divide by 2. So the home one, we got 90 90 ringgit and 25 cents. Home 2, 80 ringgit and 68 cents. Home 3, 968 ringgit and 10 cents. And to find the daily rates, we the average total divides by 30. So the home 1, we got 64 cents. Home 2, we got 2 ringgit and 70 cents. Home number 3, we got 32 ringgit and 27. So the question number 3, compare domestic tariff between TNB, SESB, and SESCO. So the comparison of domestic tariff among these 3 utilities, TNB offers the lowest domestic tariff with minimum of monthly charge, which is 3 ringgit, while SESCO and SESB charge 5 ringgit monthly. TNB provides electricity to Peninsular Malaysia as the national utility operates. Besides, SESCO and SESB are operating in the state of Sabah and Sarawak respectively. Okay, so the next slide. For the conclusion part, we have prepared some alternative ways to save bill. So firstly, always switch off the lights and electrical appliance when not in use. This way to be sure no electricity is flowing through an appliance. And as we know, any switch on charger that is plugged in will still use electricity. So the second one is try to minimize consumption by using initiative others than electronic appliances. For example, by using laptop instead of desktop, because desktop needs more energy efficient than a laptop. What happened to the slide? Najwa? Okay, I think her connection is, because she's not here as well. Do you know your script? Yes. Okay, just continue. Okay, so by using laptops instead of desktop, because desktop are more energy efficient than a laptop. And lastly, consider going solar. Okay, thank you, Nick. Lastly, consider by going solar, as we know that solar panels provide an excellent way of generating power on your own, not only helping you financially, but also contributing to the environment. It depends on where we live, as we live in Malaysia. Malaysia's bright sunny climates make it the perfect medium for producing solar energy sustainable all year round. As a result, you no longer have to purchase your power from the grid, which significantly reduce your electricity bill. So that's all from our group. Thank you. Okay, I like this group's use of slides. My eyes could follow the presentation, the slides together with your speech. So that was good. I want to ask, why is it cheaper to use solar, but we are not using solar panel expensively? We are not using solar everywhere. It's cheaper, but why are we not using it? You guys know?
That time, sorry, my battery went out.
It's okay.
What is the question? Sorry.
Okay, the question is, you said consider using solar panels because it may help us to use less electricity from the grid, and it is cheaper because you just get it from the sun. If that is the case, why is Malaysia not using solar panels everywhere?
I believe it has a high startup cost.
Yes, it's correct. Betul. All right, that's it for me. Well done, everyone. I am very happy with your presentations. I believe you prepared really well for your slides and also for your report. So I'm very, very happy and I appreciate what you've done, even though you are very busy. So have a good rest. Take care and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you,
Welcome.
sir.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. And sorry about that just now.
It's okay, it's okay. Okay, don't forget to sign in 13 kalau belum. Nak cakap. Bye-bye.